Good morning, students. Today we are going to start a new chapter, third level, written by Jack Finney. Jack Finney was an American author born in 1911. Most of his work is based on science fiction and thriller, and the third level is also of the same genre. Fine. One of the most famous Hollywood movie which actually you can connect with the third level is the Chronicle of Narnia. You must have watched that movie. Fine. In that movie, the way the girl, she went to a cupboard and then come out in a completely different world. Same thing happened with the protagonist of this chapter, Charlie. Fine. And how actually story actually turns out, that we'll be able to know once we read this chapter. Clear? So the first task which I will give you is to read this chapter first till from page number 1 to 3. So you will pause this video now, read the chapter from page number 1 to 3, and then you can resume the video again. Fine. Welcome back, students. I hope you all must have read those pages which were given by me. Fine. So before going to ask you few questions, I'll discuss the difficult words first with you. Fine. The difficult words which you may find in these pages are, the first word is subway. Subway. Now, when I say subway, the first thing which comes in mind is, it's just like Tim Hortons, it's just like McDonald's, fine, or KFC. No, that's not the subway we are talking about. The subway in American English means an underground train. Fine. So it's subway is underground train. I hope you all are writing these difficult words and their meanings in your English notebook. Fine. The next is the timetable. Now, timetable here refers to the schedule of showing the departure and the arrival time of the trains at a specific station. Fine. So it's actually a schedule of showing arrival and departure time of train. Fine. The third word is waking dreams. Now, waking dreams is actually a voluntary dreams which generally occur while you are awake. जागते हुए सपने देखना. Fine. That's what waking dream is. It's a voluntary dream occurring when we are awake. जागते हुए सपने देखना जिसे कहते हैं. ठीक है. Next is wonder. Wonder means walk, yeah, when you roam around here and there. Fine. Then suburban. Suburban here refers to the residential area. Fine. Suburban refers to residential area. And the last word is arced. Arced here means curved. It means curved. I hope you all must have written down these difficult words and their meanings in your English notebook. Fine. Now, next, because you have already read these pages, I want to check how much you have read. So, like in previous lectures, I would give some statements and you have to tell me whether those statements are true or false. Is that clear? So, the first statement is the president of New York Central swears that Grand Central Station has 3 levels. Fine. The president of New York Central swears that the Grand Central Station has 3 levels. Is that statement true or false? Anybody who want to try? Yes, it's false, because they said that there are actually 2 levels only. Charlie used to believe that there are 3 levels. Fine. Now, next is the psychiatrist Sam agreed that there are 3 levels in Grand Central Station. The psychiatrist Sam, friend of Charlie, he actually agrees that what Charlie says, that there are 3 levels in Grand Central Station. True or false? It's false again. Fine, he didn't believe what he said. Fine, for him it was just a kind of hallucination. Next statement, Charlie compared Grand Central Station with a tree. Now, true or false? It's true. Fine. And the next statement, the last statement is the 3rd level was having small and fewer ticket counters. The 3rd level was actually having small rooms and fewer ticket counters. True or false? Any try? Yes, that's true. Now, next is I will discuss the highlights of this story, specifically these 3 pages which you have read. Fine, let's begin. The first thing is I'll introduce the main characters of this chapter. Fine. So, the main character, the first character, important character of this chapter is Charlie. Charlie is actually a 31-year-old man. Fine. He has having a hobby of stamp collection. Fine. The next important character is Sam. Sam is a psychiatrist. Fine. And Charlie's friend as well. Clear? The third important character is Louisa. Third important character is Louisa. Third important character is Louisa. She is Charlie's wife. Fine. And then there is a reference of Charlie's grandfather as well in the beginning. Fine, because he was having also the same hobby as Charlie is having, that is stamp collection. Clear? Now, let me discuss and give you some information about the highlights, the main summary of these 3 pages which you have just read. Fine. Now, this story actually begins with the reference being made to Grand Central Station. The Charlie, he actually gave reference that the president of New York Central and the most of the public which was there, people which were living there, they used to believe that, and they used to believe that there are 3 levels in Grand Central Station. But Charlie, he used to believe that there are not 2, there are 3 stations. The president and the people, they used to say that there are 2 stations only, and the Charlie used to believe that there are 3 levels. Fine. So, there was a difference, 2 levels and 3 levels. Clear? Now, he went to his friend Sam, psychiatrist. He said that actually he has seen the 3rd level and there are 3 levels in Grand Central Station, and other people are saying there are only 2 levels. So, Sam also took a side of the people and took a side of president as a president of Grand Central Station. Fine. He said that no, they are right. Actually, there are 2 levels only, not 3 levels. And he said that why you are believing that there are 3 levels, because it's a kind of hallucination. You actually want to escape from the reality. Fine. He said that modern world is actually full of pain, struggle, distress, disappear. Fine. So people actually want to escape from their reality. They want to live a peaceful life, and the life which they are living right now is all of tension, struggle, pain, distress. Fine. So they need a medium, they need a mode to escape from that painful, struggleful reality. That can be a reason why you are having this hallucination that there is actually 3rd level, but there is no 3rd level, there is only 2 levels. Fine. Charlie said that, okay, no problem. If you say that this is actually a way, the way where by which I can actually escape the reality, that I am not the only one. Fine. I am living in this modern world. I am having a struggleful, stressful life, tension life, life full of tension. Then the other people are also living the same life. If I want to escape from the reality, the other people are no different to me. Other people, they are not different from me. They also want the same thing. They also want to escape from the reality. But there is one difference. The difference is that I have been to 3rd level. Fine. They have not gone, they have not seen the 3rd level, but I have seen the 3rd level, and that's a difference. Fine. We may have the same motto. I want to escape the reality, they also want to escape from the reality, but I have been to 3rd level, they are not been to 3rd level. Clear? And when the people used to say that even the hobby of stamp collection is actually also a temporary escape from the reality, a temporary work, fine. They said that, okay, I accept it. For me, the stamp collection is a way, a medium, a mode of through which I can escape the reality. But what about my grandfather? He also used to have this hobby of collection of stamps, and the stamps which I am having, this is the same stamps which are being collected by my grandfather. I am getting from him. And the life, the period in which actually he was living, that period was a peaceful period where he was living a peaceful life. So how you can justify this with my grandfather's hobby? And he gave the reference to the Roosevelt, President Roosevelt as well, that he used to have the same hobby. How you can justify it? Fine. Then he said, okay, let me actually begin the story actually about when and how I happen to be in the 3rd level. He said that I am no different from others. I am just 31-year-old lad, fine. And once I was working late night in my office, and when the work was finished, I just wanted to go to house as soon as possible for my wife, fine. So instead of boarding a bus, I went to the subway. Subway means the underground train, fine. I went to subway, and while I was walking along, fine, so I saw, because I was wearing the same kind of tan suit, fine, with a straw hat, fine, and same kind of suits, dress are being worn by the people who are walking along with me. So he said that I am in this world only, I am not hallucinating, fine, I am in the same world. And once he entered the Grand Central Station, he went to the 1st level, the level where the people used to board a train, the Century train, fine, for Gilsburg. Then he went down again to the 2nd level where there were suburban trains, fine. And as he was walking towards the corridor of the 2nd level, he saw a tunnel, and he kept walking in the tunnel, though he realized that maybe I am mistaken, maybe I am going to the wrong direction, but still he went ahead. And after he was going ahead, he couldn't find the way out. There was just hollow place, and he was able to hear the noise of his foot only, his shoes only, fine. So he said that there are many kinds of tunnels in this Grand Central Station, and many people may have gone to those tunnels. And he compared the Grand Central Station with actually the tree. He said that these corridors, these tunnels, these staircases, fine, they are actually roots which keep on growing, fine. So, he said that it's I used to use this Grand Central Station many times, and I used to use the subway, and many times I have been to different places. Once I went there and I came out in a hotel, near a hotel. Then I again one time I again came out and I saw an office in front of me, fine. So, once it was a hotel, another it was an office. He said that same way the people are also lost in those tunnels. There are big tunnels there for them as well, fine, and that is the mode, that is the way they escape from the reality. But he said, I don't discuss these things with my friend psychiatrist, fine, Sam, clear. Then after discussing these things, he said that when I was passing through that tunnel, which he was passing right now in the story, passing through the tunnel, I heard a hollow noise, hollow roar, fine, after some distance, and I figured out that there may be an open space there, and a lot of people may be there who may be talking with each other, clear. And when he entered there, in the beginning he thought that maybe I am in the second level itself, but then he saw the people walking around. Then he realized that no, actually I am not in the second level and somewhere else. The difference he saw was the moment he entered that corridor, he saw that there are small rooms, fine, there are few ticket booths are available there, the small rooms are there, fine, the lights, they are very dim, because at that point of time that was lights were being burned by the gasoline, fine. Then he saw and a man sitting in the booth, fine, he was wearing the dress the way he is not used to see those people wearing that kind of dress, fine. So, that's the end of third chapter, this page, and we'll continue next page later on. But now we'll discuss some questions, fine. I'll write some questions on the board, you will write the answers first and then we will discuss, fine. So, take your pen and your notebook and please write down the questions, fine. The first question which you have to answer, and keep in mind that you have to answer these questions in 30 to 40 words only, is that clear? So, first question is what does the third level refer to? What does the third level refer to, and what is the significance of third level? Fine, this is question number 1. Question number 2 is what convinced Charlie that he had reached the third level? Fine, that's the question number 2. Now, question number 3. Question number 3 is that how did Charlie get lost? How did Charlie get lost in the Grand Central Station. Fine. So these are the three questions. Fine. And you have to write the answers of these three questions in 30 to 40 words only. So you can pause your video here, attempt these questions in 30 to 40 words, and once you are done, you will resume the video again. Clear? Welcome back, students. I hope you all must have written down the answers for these three questions. Fine. So let's discuss these three questions. Fine, one by one. The question number one which I asked you was that what does the third level refer to and what is the significance of third level? Clear? So I hope you all have written down the answers. Anybody who want to try? Okay, good. So the answer is, for the people in journal, the third level is actually the third level of the Grand Central Station. Fine. Is that clear? But for Charlie, the third level, what is third level? Actually, it's a mode or medium to escape from the reality. He was in hallucination. Fine. So both had a different meaning. For them, for the people in journal, it is actually the third level through which they, which actually doesn't exist at all. Fine. The third level for people, they actually it doesn't exist now. It's just two levels there. Clear? But for Charlie, that's a reality. That's a reality. Third level is a reality. And for the people, they believe that the Charlie is having a third level, just a way to escape the reality. It's a kind of hallucination. So third level has a different meaning for both Charlie and for both the people as well. Clear? And what is the significance of third level? Significance of the third level is actually to, first thing is he actually want to escape from the reality. Fine. And secondly, which actually the people they actually were saying that he want to escape the reality, but he never used to believe. Fine. So he want to escape from the reality. Fine, as the people say. Now for Charlie, it is significance just to interweave the fantasy and the reality, because when you read the chapter further, you will see that Charlie has very efficiently interwoven the fantasy and the reality together. Fine. So that it seems like a real world. He is actually not accepting that it's a hallucination. He is not actually accepting that it's a way, it's a medium of escape from the reality. So he had described actually this third level in such a way, in such a detail, that people who will read this or people who will hear this will not be able to differentiate that whether that's a real or a dream, a fantasy. So he used that incident, he used that place of third level just to interweave the reality and the fantasy together. Clear? So both people, they have different meaning of third level. Charlie has a different meaning of third level, and he used that third level to interweave the fantasy and reality together. Fine. You will read that he has given a detailed account of the Grand Central Station, third level of Grand Central Station. Fine. Second question is, what convinced Charlie that he had reached the third level? Okay, in the beginning when he reached the third level, he thought that maybe it's the second level. Fine. But when he saw the people there, when he saw the rooms there, when he saw the light, dim light there, when he saw those few booth there, ticket booth there, and you will read further in chapter, there were tickets, the currency was used old. Fine. So at that point of time, he realized that he is into a different world. Fine. So when he saw the difference, the clothes which actually he was wearing, the clothes people were wearing, when he saw the difference of the rooms which were there, the size of the room was small, when he saw the difference in the ticket booth, fine, when he saw the difference in the light, dim light, where the gasoline was being used to lighten up, fine. So those difference made him actually realize that he's somewhere else. Those things made him realize that he is actually not in second level, he is actually in the third level. Clear? Next is, how did Charlie get lost in the Grand Central Station? Fine. Now, for this answer, you will describe from the incident when he started describing about the moment he entered the Grand Central Station. Fine. He entered the Grand Central Station. That's the efficiency of the author as well, and that's the way Charlie has also described. He described everything from the entrance of Grand Central Station to the third level. Fine. How he get lost in there. Fine. He entered the Grand Central Station. Then the first was the first level where there was Century trains. Fine. Which the people used to board to go to Gilsburg. Then there was a second level where the two suburban tubes were there, trains were there. Fine. Then he got lost in a corridor. He thought that he realized that he is in the wrong way. Still he went ahead. There was no noise there. The only noise he could hear was for his footsteps. Fine. Then he described and justified that he is lost by saying that the Grand Central Station is actually just like a tree, where these corridors, these stairs, fine, they are actually like roots which keep growing. Fine. There are many tunnels there. And he said that not only me, the people who come here, they are also lost in these tubes, in these tunnels. Fine. So you will write his reference of this tree when he compared the Grand Central Station with the tree. Then you have to describe the moment he entered in the Grand Central Station. He talked about the first level, he talked about the second level, then there was a third level, there was a long corridor. He went ahead, though he realized that he's on the wrong direction, but still he went ahead. Fine. Then he heard uproar. Fine. So that's how he actually lost in the Grand Central Station, and he couldn't come out of that. Fine. And he also gave a reference that many times he went to Grand Central Station. Someday he used to come out in front of a restaurant. Someday he came out in front of an office. Fine. So these are the answers for these three questions. Now time has come for the next three questions as a homework for you, which will be attempted by you again in 30 to 40 words. Fine. So take your pen and your notebook again. Fine. So the first question is, how did Charlie reach the third level? How did Charlie reach the third level of Grand Central Station? Fine. How did Charlie reach the third level of Grand Central Station, and how it was different from other levels? That's the first question. Fine. I hope you are writing the questions. Next question, or even the last question, is, do you think that the third level do you think that the third level was a medium? Do you think that the third level was a medium of escape from reality, for Charlie? Question mark. Why? Question mark. Is that clear? So, I hope you have written down these two questions. Fine. So, you have to answer these questions. So, that is the end of this lecture. Fine. We will meet again in our next lecture, where we will discuss the answers, for these questions, and then we will move ahead with the rest of the chapter. Is that clear? Thank you very much.